everybody, Zach here for High Voltage Guitars, and today we're talking about one of my favorite amps in the store, the Dr. Z Z-28 Mark II. In this video, we're going to talk about what this amp is, what it sounds like, who it's for, who it's not for, and I'll give you some playing examples. So what is the Dr. Z Z-28? This is a 30-watt amplifier powered by two 5881 power tubes. In the preamp, you have an EF86 and a 12AX7. The amp comes in either a head or combo configuration. The head only comes in black. The combo only comes in red. It's a 1x12 with a Celestian creamback inside. The controls on the amp are really simple, about as simple as it gets. You have your volume, treble, bass, and a master volume. On the back of the amp, you have your speaker outputs, and that's it. No reverb, no effects loop, no nothing. What you see is what you get, and what you get is an incredible sounding amplifier from Dr. Z. So what is the sound of the Dr. Z Z-28? This amp, I think, perfectly encapsulates those early ZZ Top sort of guitar sounds. If you're like me, you grab your Les Paul and you kneel at the altar of Billy Gibbons, then this is an amp to try out because it has that sort of personality to it. Every time I plug that guitar into this amp, then that's immediately where my mind goes. But it's so much more than that. There's a lot of different sounds you can get from this amp because it's so interactive and useful. Tonally, it kind of blurs the lines between those classic brown panel amps and those chimey British combos. Now, what does that mean? Brown panel amps have a lot of punch, a lot of growl, a lot of mid-range that really just cut and hit really hard, but sometimes they have too much low end and are kind of saggy. Whereas those chimey combos have plenty of harmonic treble content, a lot of presence and sparkle, and kind of thinner in the low end. That's their charm. But when you mix those two ideas into an amp like this, you have a lot of sound that you can cover, a lot of ground you can cover just with a simple control layout. The controls on this amp are highly interactive. Now, a lot of amp manufacturers claim that, but what Dr. Z does is deliver. The treble and the bass controls on this amp not only adjust those frequencies, but also change how those frequencies break up. If you need more breakup in the treble sound of the amp, you turn that treble knob up, and vice versa. If you need it to be smoother, you can turn it down. You need the treble to clip less or be cleaner, you can turn that down. It's a really fun amp to tweak because any guitar or pedal board that you plug into it, you can dial in a sound really quickly, something that's unique and fun and responds really well to your playing as a guitar player. This thing has a huge range of gain. If you need it to be big and clean, it can do that. If you need it to be cranked and really have a lot of grind, it can do that too. So it's really just up to you to see where your playing can take the Z-28. When they updated this amp for the Mark II version, they added the post-phase inverter master volume. They added some more refinement to the circuitry in the amp itself, and then they reworked the cabinet for the combos so it sounds as good as possible. And this thing has a ton of punch, and at 30 watts, this thing is gonna cut through any band with no problem. When Dr. Z says 30 watts, they mean it, and this thing is pretty dang loud. Now, who is this amp for? If you like those early sort of ZZ Top sounds, if you like that blues rock sound, something that has a lot of push that's really responsive to your guitar's volume knob, then this is an amp to check out. But if you like to run a big pedal board, if you like to have a lot of different sounds at your disposal, this can take pedals really well, and it functions really well as more of a pedal platform because even though I've been talking about a lot of crank sounds, this thing has a really great clean sound when you turn the volume down and really play with these EQ controls. So if that's something that you're interested in, then the Z-28 Mark II is definitely an amp to check out. Now, who is this not for? If you need all the bells and whistles, just like we've talked about in the past, this amp doesn't really have that. If you need more features, then I would probably look at a Maz or something like a Z-Lux, but this is not made for people that have giant pedal boards that need effects loops and all the different signal routing or have a lot of different sounds at their disposal. The sounds that are at your disposal with this amp are kind of up to you as a player. So it's just for a different style of guitar player, but I genuinely think there's a lot to like with this amp. So if that's something you're interested in, I think this is an amp to check out. Now, I'm gonna grab some guitars, plug into this amp, give you some tones. I'm gonna try to play some of my favorite riffs that this amp inspires me to play and give you a taste of just what these knobs can do and how interactive they really are. Let's check it out. Okay, first things first, I grabbed my R9. This is my trusty guitar loaded with SLE 101s and plugged into the Z-28 with everything at noon, and sounds like this. Okay, everybody, I grabbed this Mario Martin T-style guitar that we have in stock here at High Voltage Guitars, turned the amp down for a more clean sound, so we got the input volume at about 11 o'clock, treble at about 10 o'clock, bass at about 1, and master at about 1. Sounds like this. All right, everybody, so I've cranked the amp a little bit more, grabbed my Les Paul again, and we're gonna see just what this thing can do. The gain, the input volume, is at about 5 o'clock, the treble at about 3 o'clock, the bass at about 10 o'clock, and the master at about 10 o'clock, and it sounds like this. Okay, so I've set everything back at noon, and I'm gonna dive into just how interactive the volume, treble, and bass controls are. So I'm gonna play a little bit, twist the knobs, and let you guys hear that for yourself. Thanks for watching this video on the Dr. Z Z28. If you want to learn more about this or any of the other Dr. Z amps that we have in stock, go to highvoltageguitars.com or give us a call. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.